What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And today we are diving into Murderbot, episode 7, of course, of season 1. There's only one season so far. Apple TV. And this episode gave us more context. We actually know quite a bit more about some characters, and I thought that was great. So we're going to dive into it all today, but if you are brand new to the channel, go ahead, make sure you subscribe if you enjoy this content. If you do, also make sure you hit the like button. That's how we know that you really enjoyed what you saw. Also, if you're brand new here, we are a show about shows. We are never experts, but we love to chat about this kind of stuff and really talk about our theories and what may be happening. And it seems you guys really do too, because we are 33,000 and growing. So really appreciate you guys tuning in. And so without further ado, you're going to be tuning in the comments to chime in with us, and we'll meet you there. But let's chat about this.
Yeah, so what? It was this whole sweet bitter thing, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool concept. It falls in line with what I'm seeing a lot of the yin yang in this series now.
Yeah, it reminded me of that recent, well, not recent anymore. One of the things with me, like my career was off of that TPI and all that, but it was in the last year where they had that TikTok trend where, do you know what I'm talking about?
Not yet.
Where they're like, shit, it was like, listen but don't judge. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's exactly what this whole thing reminded me of, where it's like,
listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, and then they would say something crazy.
And then they would judge.
Exactly, yeah. That was trend. Immediately judging after saying not to. But yeah, in this episode, the way they were like, we can speak about it, we can speak about it. Like, it just reminded me of that trend where it's like, we can talk about it, let's judge each other. It's like, oh shit, TikTok's invading.
I wonder if that was from the actual book? Was that a big piece of it? Because I keep seeing comments saying that a lot of the characters are like way weaker than they normally nerfed, as the commenters have put it, and that they're not as empowered as they normally were.
Yeah, this was an episode where I don't necessarily think that they were still definitely nerfed, but we got more context to who they were, especially Gurathin, which for the last 7 episodes, we've had, both of us, this weird feeling, the hair on the back of the neck feeling like something's off. You've gone as far to say you just don't like them. And so in this episode, we, as the viewer, all of us got to see why that feeling was there. Because at one point, he was a spy. He was a double agent. He was working for the enemy. He was working for a corporation to gather information to help them on their galactic conquests, right? It's like to hurt their enemies. And so those, like, the things that made him a good spy, the things that made him get recruited in the first place, other than the addiction and the twitchiness, I'm sure, are probably the same things that made us and then the original crew feel weary around him. And now we know why. And I think now that we know why, and know that he had the moment of clarity to admit his flaws and want to move past them, which is always, you know, we always love that. Anytime anyone wants to be like, I can admit I fucked up and I want to get better. Great, let's go. So now we're rooting for him. And well, I don't know necessarily rooting for him yet.
He's still a dick.
I have a way bit different perception of him now, and I think he belongs, and I want to see the whole team succeed. Where before I kind of liked the idea that Murderbot didn't really like him. I like him now. I'm not necessarily like full let's go, but I like him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. We also got a whole lot of unity carried throughout with Murderbot becoming a true member of the crew, it feels like, after all the distrust that they faced for more than the damn episode, maybe even the full episode of him just killing that woman.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that they're humanizing him a whole lot more. He even talks about the whole conflict that he has between like being machine and man, like half-half, and it's just pure chaos mixed in. Like he's only got the chaos pieces from both.
Yeah.
That led into that one funny scene to me where he's like, oh, I'll just watch my show till I run out of battery. He's like, should have downloaded more shows.
Yeah.
It lasted like 10 seconds.
I really enjoyed his perimeter walk, you know, when he goes to be by himself. That conversation that he had, but it was very enlightening because it answered questions that we've had, that personally I've had and we've asked on the show, like for 6 episodes. You know, how much human, like, what is he? A combination of human and robot? Is he cyborg? Is he, like, is his brain human? Like, what's going on there? And he talks about how he is a mixture of, you know, cloned human pieces and robot, but that as people would normally think that those things are separate, to him, he's just one really confused unit. And I thought that was kind of enlightening that maybe we could have had that earlier in the season. Because if you're coming into this like we are, never reading the books, just watching a trailer, liking the concept, wanting to check it out, without front loading us with some really good like context on who he is and how he operates, especially with short episodes, I felt like waiting 7 episodes to get that without the comments. Like the comments gave it to us earlier, but like if we didn't have the show and we didn't have a cool audience who would fill us in and we were just watching it, we would be pretty lost, like wondering what the hell's going on. And I'm glad that we did get some actual confirmation of that in the watch.
He reminds me, not just realize, he reminds me very much of like RoboCop meets a Short Circuit, Johnny Number 5. Like he's got the whole childlike of Johnny Number 5, but still the whole serious demeanor of RoboCop type stuff.
Yeah, I'm having a time remembering Johnny 5 right now, but that's not here or there. But I'm gonna have to look it up
alive
and remind myself. Yeah, so one other thing that I thought was really interesting, if we're in the context of getting to know the crew more. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now I know. You got to see that they've actually been together much longer than maybe we thought, and that there's actually been in situations where one of them may have thought that the other one was like hitting on them, and then it fell apart, and they have to deal with that. And I thought that was interesting to see the context of like how they really are so intertwined as a team, and just how their mindset works around loving, forgiving, and like operating as a unit. Because in most cases, and other than this society who just wants to listen and let live, you would think that if you were to think someone was making a romantic gesture towards you, and then you were to try to reciprocate that, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, sorry, that's not what I was doing. There'd be a lot of like guilt and embarrassment and mixed emotions that most people, I would think, would not want to keep confronting or working like, but these people are like, no, we're going to move past it. And I thought that was cool to see like that dynamic. Also to see that like they're in their way that they like marry and love and connect, and their intimate moments is very communal. It seems like they have multiple partners. They have multiple husbands and wives. They're just one big...
The hippie commune?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I don't have any experience being in a hippie commune or understanding what that would really like be like.
Ant-Man, what's that actor's name again?
Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd, yeah. So did you ever see that movie where Paul Rudd and was it like Jennifer Aniston go to a hippie commune?
Don't think so.
Oh, have to look it up later, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
And there's movies that are like that, and that's my only experience, a hippie commune.
Yeah. I haven't seen those movies, so I don't have that context. Yeah, that's all. The other thing that was really cool about this episode was the bugs. Absolutely.
That was the best part, in my opinion. I thought they were going to war.
Yeah, I thought they were going to fight each other too. I thought we were going to see like a cool bug battle. But the twist was even cooler. We have these native species on this planet who are just operating in maybe more of an instinctual way than we throw them down. They are just
reacting,
eating, breeding, and protecting whatever it might be. And I think that some of them are like in previous episodes, we dealt with some that may have been protecting whatever that aura is, or that area, like they're protecting something in there, so they're more aggressive. But the ones we're seeing outside of that zone aren't necessarily aggressive. They're more just looking for food or a partner, really. And we have to see that they found a partner in this one.
When they showed them like intertwined on top of the ship, and they started showing them panning out to see the outside of the ship, I'm like, oh my god, please don't have the missed opportunity of not putting like splooge or something comical hanging off the ship. And I wasn't disappointed. We got some eggs. I saw the dripping. I'm like, oh, yes, you guys did a good job with that. And I saw I was like, okay, we'll go with that too.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
Yeah, I was curious what the angle was going to be with the eggs, because obviously the research team was conflicted on what to do with it. But the shorter haired woman, she wants to, I forget her name, she wants to like research them and figure it out. Like super fascinated by the fact that these are like here, and she wants to study them. So I didn't know if she was going to like try to one.
And her wife's like, no, I don't want to see these. Just take one down and go study it your damn self.
Yeah.
She's like, just go inside.
Yeah, I told her to go inside. But I thought that was a unique angle because Murderbot, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if he like had like a fantasy or like it jumped into his mind, like if it was reality or not when the other bot attacked at first.
That's why I thought when he was in the forest, like staring at the one in the tree, I was like, is he like hallucinating or something?
Yeah.
Same idea there.
Yeah, I think that was him just like imagining what he'd do. Like just let his battery turn off and fade into it and just, become part of the forest.
Well, we got answered like a minute later.
I think it does this purposely to us. Like we never really quite know right away whether he's imagining it or if it's like fantasy or real, right?
Yeah, like when he fantasizes about killing them.
Right. Yeah, so it's like we never quite know. And then a couple seconds later, it's like, oh, that's what's happening. And then obviously he's getting his butt handed to him only because he's trying to protect the idiot. They're fighting a sec unit instead of trying to go inside. So he's spending most of his time with them from the sec unit.
And taking all the damage for it. That was a good shot with the spear, though, when the upgraded model went and threw it back at him.
And he shoots it for you. Yeah, that was cool. The whole fight was pretty cool. And then ultimately, we find out that these insects, the female I think it's the female. No, I think it would be the male because he was the one that was on top. I don't know. I don't know the genetics of the species at all.
They were too intertwined to know.
That's true, like a snake. Interesting. But either way, one of them turns out is quite protective of the babies and ends up just ripping the head off of the one sec unit and then stealing its other babies and running away. So
that was anticlimactic for sure. Like expected a much better fight scene.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, boop. That's it. It's like they don't have time.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I don't think we're ever going to get something like that because there's not enough time in the episode. Unless the entire episode is the fight, there isn't enough time.
This isn't Dragon Ball Z.
The whole seasons that are one fight.
Yeah.
You can go episodes with one punch being thrown. Like, still great stuff. I grew up on it, so still great. But yeah, if you got to be patient for that. In this one, it was cool to see the more alien interaction. We get to see more of the planet. We got to get more backstory from the crew. We definitely got to see Murderbot assimilating more into the crew, like feeling more like a part of the crew. You know, Mence is a big part of that, making like having more. I think she's more connected to him than the rest, right? Because they've done that excursion together.
I think it's the whole wisdom of age.
Yeah. He's definitely starting to warm up to her and like take her advice and listen to her a little bit more. Because when the others were like, take your helmet off, he was like, no. And then she asked him and he was like, all right, and takes it off. And
she's like, Mom.
Yeah. So that is cool. We're starting to see him have more humanity, like starting to like become more human.
I loved how everything he said sounds logical, but without context, I think he's trying to kill them. I love that about the episode too.
Yeah.
And then we get left off with them going back to their habitat thing. Haven't left yet, but they're on their way back to the habitat thing to go save
Gura, but Gurathin's full name, yeah.
So that's where they're headed right now. And Murderbot didn't want to save him. He's like, use your brain. Just lose the one for the sake of everyone else, because there's a trap there, I promise you.
Yeah. I mean, he's still a security unit and he still thinks like he still has a very logical brain. And so he's like, we are definitely walking into danger and every one of you could die. So logically, one versus whole team. But we'll see how they pull it off.
And he was told, like, hey, we're going back with or without you. If you want to come, you can. You're invited, bud.
Yeah, no. And again, Mensa poking it, like she just knows what to say to him.
Yep.
So yeah.
And he kind of pouts. You can see it in the way he was walking, like back towards the ship, like, fine.
Yeah. So one question I did have is, has he repaired himself since he since he...
Or his spine?
Yeah, like he used himself to repair the hopper. And then they came back and I don't remember him repairing himself.
I'm not sure if he did. Maybe just being in that stand-up section of the pod ship, the hopper.
Yeah. Well, Gurathin didn't have enough time to fully heal himself, so I wouldn't think that he would have enough time to fully repair himself.
Well, he also can kind of repair on the fly slightly, because he mentions earlier episodes that he was shutting off blood flow to certain sections of the body.
Yeah, I think that's like general maintenance within, but if he were to need new parts or to be needed to like be reassembled in some way, he needs that unit that he walks into. He needs the thing he goes into.
Stand-up one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I'm excited for our next episode, and honestly, I would still give the same advice. Just if you can help it, just wait and don't start this. But I guess it's too late if you're watching this episode already.
Yeah, if you're watching this, then you've already seen it.
Yeah, well, we've already gone to sunk loss with this, where it's just like, I still think we need to do an episode at the very end of us just doing a complete run through of all the episodes. It's only gonna be like a couple hours anyway. Yeah. It's so short.
No, I think that's a smart play we'll run through the episodes, but I mean, as a viewer, the most value you're going to get, as you already said, is going to be watching it from front to back and like almost a binge sitting, 1 or 2 days. And that's going to be
like a 2-part movie.
You'll be able, it's going to feel like a little mini series to you. And you're going to be able to get more of that context and value all at once instead of having to wait months like we have to get answers. And then, we'll that video as well so we can chat about the whole thing. And then if you want more details, as we went through every episode, you can go back, watch the playlist, and we'll always have the content available for you and easy to find inside of playlists. Yep. Yeah. So if you're brand new, make sure you hit subscribe. If you enjoy this video, definitely hit that like button. We have tons of other stuff that you can check out, and we'll see you on that next video. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.